right, getting ready to go live on Facebook. We're gonna get started in 1 minute. Just getting us live in the Heart Centered Moms group. All right, it says we are live on Facebook. Still waiting for that to work, but let me open it up and make sure where I'm supposed to be. I am. Awesome. Working. It says it's live now, but it's not showing. Okay, I'm gonna just start and hopefully it's working. Somebody let me know. I'm gonna pop onto the Facebook one so I can see if it's going. Oh, it's working. Okay. All right, and now I can see comments. Perfect. This is crazy. This is my first time doing this whole like Zoom to a Facebook group other than my own. Anyhow, hi, I am Toby, and I'm the Resilient AF Midlife Mama. And I just get my notes ready here. So I'm a mom of 3. I've got a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and an almost 14-year-old. And I've been a homeschooling mom for 18 years. And my middle one also went to school. And now I have my oldest at college. So what that means for me is that I've got experience with like the school thing, the not school thing, the virtual school thing, like all of that. So I'm also a speech pathologist, and I worked in schools, various different schools and hospitals and all that. So, and I'm an aroma therapist and aroma freedom technician. Oh my gosh, aroma freedom certified. But my most favorite thing is executive function mama coach. So I say executive function mama coach because right now who I serve are the mamas of teens and young adults who are struggling with their teens and young adults, right? Because the brain does not fully develop until the mid-20s, right? So it's not fully cooked. And a lot of times we as mamas jump in and we become our children's prefrontal cortex, which is in the front of the brain. It's the place where all this executive functioning is happening. And a lot of times we jump in and we just do the things. And really where I see this the most and I hear the most struggle is around organization. So that's what I want to talk about today is the organization piece of it. And I just want to make sure that I can read anything that comes up. So organization is broken down into like planning as well as time management. Those are 2 components of it. And when I talk about executive function skills, what I'm talking about is really like the stuff that our brain does to help us get stuff done, right? Like that's the simplest way to describe it. And it can be broken down into various different areas. So the one we're going to focus on now, like I said, is organization, which is planning and time management are the 2 biggest pieces of it. And Oh my gosh, anytime I think about organization, the first thing I do is like take a deep breath. If you're an oiler, oil up. Like for me, the disorganization with my kids sometimes can make me absolutely crazy. um, and one of the things that um, is really important to know about is that these skills rely a lot on visual memory and spatial skills. So, what that means is that when we use tools like schedules, checklists, labeling, color coding, anything that we can provide will support that skill and allow them to have more independence with it than having us like nagging. I hate the word nagging. Um, so let's just look at a typical day. And this doesn't really matter if your kids are in school, if they're virtual schooling, if they're homeschooling. Most kids have one of two things that they're working with that gets disorganized. Um, the first one is the backpack, and the other one is the desk. So let's talk about the backpack. My kids homeschool, they still have backpacks because, they still go out and do all these other things, right? So, what's really helpful is to have a list of what belongs in the backpack and also what doesn't belong in the backpack, and to have a scheduled weekly um, cleansing of the backpack. I like to think of it because I don't know about you guys, but my kids, like the stuff that sometimes comes out of the backpack at the end of the week is really kind of scary, especially because I have a 14-year-old, almost 14-year-old who loves to collect bugs. So, anyhow, um, the backpack is typically overstuffed, right? Like everything just goes in there, it becomes their world, and everything is just in there. So once a week, just taking the time to help them take everything out. Sometimes the backpack needs to be cleaned. Sometimes there are things that leak or snacks that get lost or whatever it is, but like really getting it cleaned up and then putting things back. And if you can put them back and organize them in a way where there's maybe separate folders for specific assignments or the little zipper bags. I have this one here, like just like the little zipper bags that you can put certain things in to try to help contain things within the backpack so they're not just floating all over the place, right? So that's a great tool to have that. Um, And then the desk is the same thing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the desk, like the drawers won't even close. Things are just coming out of the drawers everywhere. And it's helpful to have maybe some kids need a label that just says like what goes in that drawer, or to have what are they the dividers, this like even for silverware they make the dividers so you can put like pens and highlighters and pencils and things in something like that, trying to get as much off of the desktop as you can and having things organized around a desk. Now some kids I know with homeschooling right now, with virtual schooling right now, kids that didn't maybe have a defined space to work in are struggling with working at a kitchen table or just kind of making space in their bedroom or whatever it is. As much as we can create that space for them and have it organized in a way that's really clear, um, it's just so helpful. And the color coding is great. Labeling is great for older kids. Color coding is really great for younger kids. So if you do have younger kids, that's a great tool. So regardless of what kind of schooling they're doing, having a printed out, really clear schedule um, of what they're expected to do throughout the day is a great tool. And having checklists of what they need in order to be prepared so that at the beginning of the day, they're able to look and make sure that they have all the tools that they're going to need for the day. Um, let's see. These are kids, so it doesn't, so sometimes it's just teens, right? Like, but executive functioning gets tripped when there's some kind of neurodiversity going on. So whether it's a diagnosed or not, um, when there's anxiety and depression, which right now a lot of our kids are struggling with, when things are out of routine like they are right now. So these are kids that, like, you can't just say go clean your room, because it's like just all too much. It needs to be broken down. So being able to help them to categorize things, to sort things out, to label things, and to create systems. Um, Creating systems and then having like checklists to support the systems is helpful. So just swipe here to the next. Whoops. Um, I mentioned desks and desktops, and what I wanted to talk about is digital clutter too, because digital clutter is something that people don't often. Oops, this is just not. I'll get to the second page here. Hmm, I don't know what's going on. Okay, whatever. We're gonna wing it. So, digital clutter. Like, honestly, you guys, if I asked each of you to take a picture of your desktop and post it, like, it would be interesting to see what lives on your desktop. So I have a weekly habit that I go in and I clean out email. I go in and I clean out the desktop. I clean out my files, because I know when I'm doing so much during the week, like, things just get really cluttered. Just as they do in a physical space, things get cluttered, and it happens digitally. The cool thing about digital is that nobody sees it. And so, you know, you don't have anybody coming over and seeing it. You're not, it's not like with your teens where you walking to, stumbling into their room and tripping over things. Um, you don't see their digital clutter. So it's important, for them to stay on top of that also. And I know, like, we all get a ton of junk mail. There's one, what's it called? Unroll Me is a great program that I've used that helps you to, it creates a digest of all of your like junk mail. And then you can look at all of that junk mail in one email and decide what you want to do with things, and you can unsubscribe from things. And it's just a really easy way to unsubscribe from junk mail and to keep that clutter out of your inbox. So it's similar to keeping the clutter out of your backpack or off of your desk. Um, so that's just a really good, Hillary. Hi, Hillary. Too much digital clutter here. Yeah. I mean, my husband, I honestly, you guys, my husband has over 100,000 emails in his inbox. And when he puts his phone down and it's like, and I can see that number in the little badge, it gives me heart palpitations. I just can't even. So I know for my kids, this is a huge issue, because I don't know about you guys, but teens do not always check their email. So there could be a lot piling up in there. So good morning, Becky. I'm good at finally seeing what's going on there. Okay, so um just open this again, see if I can get it to switch. This is making me crazy. Okay, so one of the ways that we organize in in our house is I use the Trello boards. So my homeschooler, and this would work with a kid that's in school too, we have a Trello board that we share. So I put up all the assignments for the week. At the beginning of the week, I put in all the things that I want him to do. So part of what I'm teaching him is planning and time management, right? In the sense that he looks and he sees these are the things that are required for me to complete this week. And then he moves them. So if you're not familiar with the Trello board, you have lists, and you can move things from one list to another. So he'll take the assignments off the list and he'll put them on the day where he's going to do it, and he'll map out his own time based around whatever other activities he has. He's really like into D&D and all these things online right now. So he'll go in and he'll move his assignments around what he also has scheduled. And is I'm giving him autonomy to create his own schedule and to learn his own time management. So that's again, like in the beginning, I talked about not being your kid's prefrontal cortex. So when our kids are like micromanaged and they're, everything is scheduled for them, it's very hard for them to learn those skills. So this is a great way that we use where it just goes in, he figures it out, and if he doesn't complete everything in a day, then he just moves it to the next day and he knows. And there have been times where he's like, oh, you know what, I don't think I'm going to get to my D&D on time or even at all this week because I haven't completed everything. um, and then we'll have a conversation because I think that the social part is really important too. So, well, maybe you want to like get up on Saturday and do some of that over the weekend and still be able to enjoy it. So it's learning how to do those things. That's really important. In this Trello, I have a course that I've done with these Trello boards where I also do meal planning, which again is another thing that brings up planning and time management. Now, that one is one that I primarily use, but as my kids have gotten involved in cooking, it's been a great board, especially when I had my college student home, to be able to use the board for planning out like this is a recipe I want to try, and then figuring out what are the groceries we're going to need for it, and then what night are we going to have it, and again having that autonomy of choosing a recipe and planning it out and managing your time around making time to cook it. And then we also have there's another board for just like general stuff that needs to be done in the house, all the things, so that the kids are also aware of what is happening with the family, what kind of projects we're looking to do over the weekend, so that all the things can be scheduled around being able to be available to help for the projects. So there's so many levels of being able to teach these skills to the kids that's really helpful. I'm seeing Hillary saying meal planning is everything here. Meal planning is so, so helpful, especially right now when, I know in our house, we're doing a lot more of like the pick up the groceries and not shopping ourselves, because my husband and I both have autoimmune stuff. And we like really, when I do that kind of planning ahead of time, it's like it's I can feel my brain working when I'm trying to figure out like exactly what we're going to need, um, to be able to do that meal planning. And then we're also getting we go back and forth with it, but like getting into the meal prepping and being able to have the meals prepared, which makes the whole day just so much smoother. um, So let me think, since I can't get my notes on this second page, which is making me crazy. Try one more time. I have this new tool. This is like my new fun thing. It was a gift that I got from my husband. It's a remarkable, I don't know. And I'm putting everything in it. And now I'm afraid because it's like I put all my notes in it. Now I can't get to them. And if I just had regular paper, this wouldn't be an issue. Anyhow, so let me tell you a little bit about um, the other place that the organization comes in really well, which is that bedtime thing. So I teens don't sleep. um, teens, the teens in my house could stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, no problem. What I have learned is that just like when they were younger, um, and we had like the bedtime routine and we had certain things that we did before to help with the wind down and all of that. What I have learned with my youngest is that it's really helpful for the teens also, that it's not just for little kids. And It works for adults too. So one of the ways that that looks in our house is that yours don't sleep, Hillary. Yeah, um, they could stay up and game all night. I don't know if that's what yours are doing, but mine seem to be gaming all night, or I don't even know. Um, so what I'm finding is that if we have some kind of a family, whether it's like watching something together or playing a game or just having a conversation and just sort of setting this tone and talking about certain things that we can do um, to to manage that time before bed to like create the environment of like what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say like going um, just relaxing. I guess it's just relaxing. So, and even if they go into their space and they are doing their gaming thing, um, and like, it's the little things. Like sometimes I'll set up a diffuser and just be like, oh, usually I'll say like your room smells. Let me set up the diffuser and then I'll put like calming oils in it. It's like little bitty things that we can do to kind of just help them to unwind. So even if they're not sleeping, they're getting some kind of like downtime experience from it. Um, and then that's on the reverse. This is also good for those that don't sleep great at night, have a hard time getting up in the morning. So if they still have to be up in the morning for those um, virtual classes or to get out to school or whatever it is or job, um, having like some clear steps and having a schedule, having something. So this is again where the Trello comes in really handy because it can be on their phones, and so they can have access to all of these tools where whenever wherever they are. And oh, planners are huge. I could spend like another whole training on just talking about planners. And I know a lot of you guys in here are big on planners because that's been a buzz conversation. But for these teens, particularly the ones that are struggling with executive functioning, having these planners is huge. And whether it's a digital planner or a paper planner or whatever it is, being able to plan not just the week, but being able to plan and create goals for the year is so, so helpful for them. Um, yeah, if it's not written down, it doesn't happen. I get that, Hillary. So, so get that. That's me too. Like, if I don't write it down, it's not happening. I write everything and I'm learning to contain it because it used to be like post-its everywhere. And then it was notebooks everywhere. So I'm trying to like hone it in. And I've found like the Trello thing has been really helpful for me because it's on the computer, it's on my phone, and it's something that I can like really access. Um, but yeah, that is really, really important. And the other thing that my kids have just started opening up to um, is doing mindfulness work. And so, some of what happens with the organization when they feel that life is cluttered, when they feel um, that they can't find things, or they don't know what's next, or they can't get like quickly online for a class or whatever it is, learning to use tools like just deep breathing, using the oils, using the AFT reset, having those skills that they can use to help them to switch gears and be able to refocus. And that is a really big piece, like for me. And I know it's not just my the people I live with in this house do not notice when things are disorganized in the way that I do. For me, it's like it agitates me. For them, it only agitates them when they can't find something. However, when I keep things organized for them, they, in the shared space, they definitely report that they feel calmer. Like it definitely helps them. So it's to the crap out of your kids. Yeah, AFT is such an amazing tool for our kids, right, Hillary? Like it's such an amazing tool. And it's for us, it's like it's priceless to be able to have that reset. Oh my gosh. So um a couple things I have going on, and I have some links in this, in the explanation of the video, whatever, the description of the video. I have a free guide to executive function development. So you can see like different ages, what things are expected at different ages. I have the Trello course, which I think it's still, I had it priced at 2020 for 2020 to like help us get organized now and get ready for next year. I have a link to AFT, and right now everything is half off because we need to get ready for 2020, and just because 2020 has been so crazy. So those links are in there. Let me just check. I feel like I'm forgetting something else that I put in there. Nope, that's it. The group, Resilient AF Midlife Mamas. So this is a group that I have for all of us mamas who are dealing with all of these teens and young adults, and it's just a great place for support and self-care, and like it's just so important for us to do our work on ourselves and to regulate our behavior to help regulate their behavior, and to be able to keep momming at our highest level and honor ourselves and love ourselves. So come join us over on that group. And that's all I have for you today. I will see you. Make it a great week. Have a great holiday. I think I'll be in at some point next week, probably before the holidays. And yeah, bye bye.